Good evening, everybody. Welcome along to GRL. We are here at Singapore for round 2 of Season 5. It is, of course, the Humidity City, but we're out here in mid-January. It's Daytona season, but I don't think we could be much further away from Daytona here in Singapore. My name, of course, is Dareth Acker. Joining me this evening, once again, is the wonderful Silent Thief, Ashley. Good evening, Ashley. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing pretty well, Dareth. Thank you very much. Yeah, it's not been too bad of a week thus far. It's just begun, and well, I'm looking forward to getting some action on this track. Very sharpish, and well, look at it. We've got a wet qualifying.
We do have a wet qualifying. Before we get to the wet qualifying, we'll have a quick look at the calendar. Of course, we had Bahrain last week, we're at Singapore this week, and we're at Japan next week. We run all the way through to Brazil in round 17. And then we'll have a quick look at the track, of course. It's been remodeled, of course, recently. Of course, I think we'll have the first race on that. Did we have it this year? The track? Oh, it was
We've already
changed
done
this
it,
year.
Dareth.
Yeah,
Season
okay.
4, we've had the new
No, no,
layout
no. I
already.
mean, in real life, have we had it?
Oh, real life. Yes, it was.
We have,
Yes, we already
haven't
had it. Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so we've had it in real life. There's obviously 19 corners. We know it by now. B4 is our championship lead. You can see all 4 divisions standings on the right-hand side. But Jobbo, sorry. B4 to 1 here last time. I don't know how I read Jobbo there on the left-hand side, but B4 was your Season 4 winner here at Singapore. We'll have to see if he can replicate it. Wonderful Atom did message me earlier with what he called a useless stat, but I think it's quite interesting that this is the first ever race in GRL history that B4 has won both the last race in any track and the last race at this track. So there you go. Bit of a fun fact for you. But we're into qualifying. About 7 minutes in. People have got their banker lap times in. So we've not missed much. This is if anything, this is more like a sim racing scream. So Mizzy currently fastest in the Red Bull, but that can all change. B4 currently up in P2. That could be a good time there. Or Gibson goes fast. This track must be improving. No offense to Gibson.
Absolutely savaging a man on stream, Dara. I can't believe you. The cheek of it. Oh, and there goes Jordan. I don't know what he's been doing. I've been riding on board with him ever since we've started the live stream here, and I've been just getting curiouser and curiouser as to what he was doing. He went off into one of the runoffs earlier on in the lap that he was doing. Corey's got no front wing. What is happening around it? I know it's wet and rainy, but geez, everyone's struggling out there clearly. But back to Jordan, he was struggling. He went down the runoff and then he's just lost it on a straight by the looks of it into the wall, and that's his qualifying over. So for the moment he's P11, but as you can see, his teammate pipping him there up into P6, or was that? Oh no, he's popped into the pit. Never mind. Someone pipped him down. He's down in 12th now. But yeah, that's his qualifying done, and he's. Well, you would assume he's just going to drop further and further down the field as times improve, and we've got 2 Williams up on the front row as it stands at the moment.
No, yeah, Dylan Baxter, I think it was, who jumped up the order. They went into P5, so I can see why I thought it was his teammate, because he was right next door on the timing tower, Dylan Baxter. But, of course, Dylan, where is he in the start? I feel like he's high up in the standings. P4, there you go, just about to throw it on the screen. But yeah, he's one to watch as well. Don't forget Jobbo and Rob Kelly. This is Singapore, longest race you can have on the F1 game in terms of time. Rob Kelly, the race merchant that he is, we might see him improve once again. Who else we got on track? We've got Ginger Ninja. What's his middle sector looking like? He's gone through that split. I feel like he's not improving here. No, he's not. So we'll go away from him. We'll look at somebody else. Is anybody improving? Mizzy might be improving. It says he had a purple sector 2 here. Jordan's wheel is on the outside of that corner, which is not ideal. But we'll have to see if Mizzy can set the fastest time again. But it does look relatively tight. I wonder what the race weather is, though, if they have to go for dry setups or something.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see what the race will bring and hold for us, because it could mean, yeah, like you say, setups and strategy will be somewhat Not necessarily too much compromise, as it's a very high downforce circuit here, is Singapore. So from wet to dry, shouldn't change too much, but it could have an effect. It could be having a factor to play. Let's put it that way. As Mizzy just once again takes provisional pole back, the Red Bull man there, 145, the first man to get into it. So I wonder, is the track improving, or is it just the people are getting more and more confidence as the laps go by? As I'm still personally, I'm riding here on board with Rob for the minute, Dara. He's on a fast lap at present. I think he had a slight improvement in sector 1. He's just about to come down to the sector 2 line. As I think you can then see if he's improving further still.
He was 3/10 up. It's just before that. It's just before that corner.
Is it? I missed it then.
Yeah, no, because I thought I think it used to be. No, it's always been there, isn't it? Or it might have been just after that corner no, I think it's always been there. Oh, I don't know. He's pitting anyway.
He's coming in anyway. It doesn't matter. It's confusing to me. It's where they've shortened it and they've cut out 4 corners. It could have changed where the sectors actually start and finish at round 2 and 3, just based on the fact that they've shortened and sped up the circuit somewhat. So, yeah, apologies for the confusion, but it's I think it's quite an easy, confusing thing to make. I can't even get my words out right. They're not making sense anymore, Dara.
Yeah, no, I know exactly how you feel. Sometimes. Oh, it's Takubi. That was not the nicest of line. He's now an ABE driver. I feel like he was just Takubi last week. But now he's ABE Takubi in that Haas. Coming down into the final couple of corners, was improving by a decent chunk in that middle sector, in that ugliest of looking Haas's. Let's see, around the final couple of corners, run up to the line, and Takubi goes fastest, 45.7. I do feel like the track will ramp up a little bit as we get towards the end of the session, but it's just going to be a case of whether the drivers can exact that lap time out and who can utilise the track with the conditions the best that they can at the moment. But we're 6 minutes or so left. I think people are only really going to get one more run in, because they're not going to be able to go out, have a lap, come back in again, and then go back out. So they're either going to do 2 consecutive laps, or they're going to do just a lap and then that's that, because there just isn't the time to come in and out again now.
No, there's not, and I think 2 consecutive laps, though, Dara, you mentioned that as a possibility. It might not be the craziest idea ever. You can get a bit of heat into your tyres, get your braking marks on point, and then for the set a banker on the first, and then for the second, really go for it, punch it around the circuit, as the ERS shouldn't make too much of a difference in these wet conditions, because you're going to have a struggle to get on the power out the corners anyway, with the weather as it is. So yeah, you could potentially do 2 runs back to back and get them set and be in, but we'll have to wait and see what people decide to do. I think maybe they'll go for the one and opting for the safe option. But Welsh Jack, though, is on an outlap, so I wonder if he's maybe thinking about that 2-run strategy. It does mean the second run, Dara, also will have a lot less fuel in the car, which then does mean a bit more speed, you would imagine, as the car is lighter. So take that what you will, and we'll have to see what people decide to do. This G Ninja there, he just pops it into P3. 146 dead, and that's pretty good lap time from him for the AlphaTauri team. I think he'll be very happy with that indeed.
He is. I'm gonna be honest, and this is something I've thought of dating back over a year and a half now. When I first talked to Ninja, I thought he sounded like you. If we have to interview him, you're gonna have to tell me, because I used to think you sounded very similar.
Really?
Just keep that in the back of your minds. If we interview him,
yeah, I will.
If people might not be able to tell who's talking. We've got Delta on that.
I might just have to call him up and be like, hello, just to see what happens.
I do have his number.
Oh, really? Oh, wow.
I do. I can't remember why he gave me his number in the first place, but I do have it. Anyway, Delta, he's on a lap here. He's currently not got a time on the board. Himself and Partick are the only 2 left in the session without a timed lap. So we'll have to see what Delta can produce here as he comes through the final few corners in his Aston Martin. Rounding the final corner now, you just got to tip the car and hope the rear end sticks, and that doesn't necessarily feel confident in the wet. And he goes fastest, bottom to top, 45.338, and he goes 4/10 clear exactly. Got a couple of Mercedes towards the line, though. I think that could be Rob Kelly starting his lap. Indeed it is, and Beeford will start his lap just behind. But, yeah, track looks like it is improving here, doesn't it?
It does, but I mean, you say it's improving. It could just be raw pace from Delta. He was second last week. Maybe he wants to do one better this week and go for that ultimate win. But he's still got a full race ahead of him to do so. As Takubi there's retired. Has he had an incident on pit exit by the looks of it? Not pit exit, apologies. I'm looking at the wrong part of the circuit. Jeez.
Oh,
He's had it around the hairpin.
Yeah,
just over the bridge. That's not good. He's obviously made a little bit of a mistake there. Put it into the barrier.
Nelson PK'd it.
Nelson PK'd it. The wrong part of the circuit again there, Darren.
I don't know. Was that on the bit of the track that they've cut off now?
It was, I believe so. Yeah, it was as you went under the just before. I think you went under the tunnel, under the grandstand. It was along that wall there.
Because you used to go around to the left, and then it was the chicane right left, and it was on the exit of that left bit, wasn't it, in front of the grandstand?
Yes, I believe you're correct there. So, yeah, we don't want to see that tonight, and I'm sure we won't, as these guys have a lot more tenacity about them, and I'm sure they'll respect it a bit more as well. But yeah, we won't go on about that. It's a sore subject for many. I'm sure.
A fun fact for you: that race was. Hang on, was it? It was 2008. Yeah.
It was 2008. Yes.
Yeah, that was my 3rd birthday.
God, are you that young?
I am that young.
Don't do me like that, Dara.
That I've just looked that up. I didn't realise it was my 3rd birthday.
I can tell you how old I was as well.
Oh wait.
In 2008, I turned 12, but I would have been 11 for most of the year. So
fair enough.
There you go.
Fair enough. You just started secondary school. I wasn't yet at nursery.
Yeah, I just started secondary school. I had a whole school over you at that point.
Yeah, you did.
Oh wow!
Quite literally. Right, Gibson's coming around the final corner towards the line. Currently P6 goes P2. Gibson showing some fantastic pace. I don't know if he's got a wet setup on, but he has historically been good in the wet. Ninja, that was a poor lap. He will go once again, I am sure. We've got Welsh Jack towards the line. I can't go to him in time, but he goes P4. But that's still another good lap time. BRT Shack. That's not him coming around the final couple of corners. It's Mizzy. Is Mizzy on a lap here? He is. He doesn't end up improving though, so he will go again once more. I don't quite know how long is left in the session, but there cannot be very long.
It's just my calculations are correct, it's just under a minute now, so this is everyone's sort of final run as we're getting towards the crunch end of qualifying. 30 seconds there, Dara, I could just about see it. So 30 seconds left. I'm currently riding on board with B4 to see if he can improve. A few cars yet to cross the line before him, but he's 3/10 up on his current lap. That is good enough at the moment. Where would that put him? It's good enough for about 5th or 6th currently, so he needs to find a little bit more in this final sector.
Oh, Atta! Sorry, Atta. I talked about losing the rear end in the final corner, and Atom has just displayed that with absolute beauty. Jobbo across the line to go P9, and Rob Kelly just goes behind him. I'm sure they're in a party together, and there'll be a little bit of banter between them. B4 goes P4, so a good lap time in the end. Delta, though, can he go even faster? Yes, he can. 45.2 extends that gap a little bit further. We've got FGE Jacob coming up next. But he was a little bit down on his time into the final sector, and there's not too much time anymore, but you can pick up time in this final sector. We'll see if he can, though, towards the line. No, he can't. Stays down in P16, and we'll look back for the Williams. Gibson coming into the pit lanes. We won't look at him, but we will look at FRC Knocker. We won't look at him because he's also coming into the pit lane. Corey, currently P14. Can he shoot himself up the order? Yeah, goes P5. As well, Jack goes P2. Just behind him, 45.3, just a 10th behind GSR Delta. And we've got a Rebel towards the line. I think that's Shaq. No, it's not Shaq. It's Mizzy towards the line. Where can he put his LP4? Not too far behind Gibson. Beeford is knocked down into 6th. We will watch the last few drivers come across the line now, though. I'm going to follow Snipes because he's the last driver to finish his lap time. Sivertson, of course, formerly Torpen, comes home P10, thank you. Dylan Baxter will be the next one, then it'll be Shaq, then it'll be Snipes, but Snipes goes a little bit deep, so let's have a look. Dylan Baxter.
Yeah, he's gone deep.
Dylan Baxter, yeah, Snipes is backing out. Shaq goes P11 in the end, but that is your grid then. Rob Kelly, did he start P13 last week? I feel like he did. And I think he might have to recover from exactly the same spot again. Oh no, was it P9? Oh, I'm going to check.
No, do you know what? I think Rob may have been even further down than you think. I think it was around about 16, I want to say. But now that I say that out loud, actually, I might be wrong. I don't know. Either way, we're praising Gibson there for his magnificent P3. But if I remember rightly, Season 4, around Singapore, he was definitely in the top 5. And he was hunting down a win at one point for that time. On that occasion as well, so it's definitely up for debate who's going to get the win here this evening, but Delta's put himself on pole position, so he has got the best chance in the race. Welsh Jack though very close, less than a tenth separates the two. He'll slot in P2, Gibson 3rd, Mizzy 4th, Tekibi 5th, B Ford 6th, Corey 7th, Ninja 8th, Dylan Baxter 10, and Sivertson or Torben rounds out the top 10, followed by Shaq, Jobbo, Rob Kelly, Naka, Atom, Jacob, Jordan Snipes, Asun Basher, and Partick. Those two at the end there, yet to set a lap time. So that's our grid then.
You were right. Rob started last week. I don't quite know why. I thought he started 13th, but he started last. It's a dry race though, nice and nice and dry. I do see wet tyres in the garage though. Could be interesting, but oh no, they've changed the mediums. It's all good.
Oh, they've switched.
Yep, it's just magically switched. Look, at least you improved. Like, if you think about it like this, Rob, you gained what was it? 15. Rob gained 15 positions last week. If he gains that, he will win the race by like 3 positions. So, good luck, Rob. He says let him cook.
Go on, Rob.
We will let him cook.
Honestly, I will let him cook because that man knows how to put on a race. So I'll be very interested to see what he can do for us this evening.
But this is the thing: he may know how to put on a race, but he doesn't know how to beat me over the course of a BPRL season.
Oof.
So I say that as he comfortably is leading me in another championship that we're both in.
You are treading on thin ice.
Oh, I definitely didn't arrange to play a game with him after this.
God, well. 31 laps to come then for Singapore. 19 turns, 10 to the left, 9 to the right. 2 DRS zones to enable the drivers to get some overtakes done around this 4.9 kilometre circuit or 3.07 miles, depending on what side of the pond you hail from. And if I remember rightly, Darren, my fact for this last time was the safety car chances here are nearly 200% based on real world statistics. So there's a good possibility at Singapore we will get a safety car, and that could definitely shape things up for the guys further down the grid. I'll ask you this week, who do you think is going to win?
It's going to be... I'm going to stick to what I said last week because I was right, and I'm going to say B Ford.
Well, you know what? I'm going to go with last week's runner-up and this week's pole position man, Delta. My money's on him. He's looking solid. He's got pole position, and that's where you want to be at this street circuit as well. So my money's on the pole man. Safe, but I think it's well validated.
Yeah, no, I can't really argue with that. But I don't know exactly when we are going to be going. I think the ready up time was 9:01. It's currently 9, so we might be just another minute or so. I mean, I know we mentioned this before, but looking forward to Daytona this weekend, Ashley.
I actually am. I watched Jimmy Broadbent and I watched Basic Ollie's Daytona, esports Daytona that is, this weekend just gone, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. And I can't wait to take part in myself in one of these events at some point soon. But that's my plans anyway. But yeah, no, I'm very much looking forward to the real thing. So you can't ever really beat the real thing, of course. But esports sim racing is a very, very, very good substitute. So racing all around is always good fun to watch, in my opinion.
It is always good fun, unless it's some kind of, unless it's just an absolutely horrific series of racing. It was funny. It was funny. It was funny. I was trying to think of an example, and the only thing that crossed my mind was Formula One. So.
Oh no, Darren. What are you doing here?
I don't know. This is fun. They're all stock. We don't know who's going to win this. Um,
No, I'm really looking forward to this race because last Singapore was an absolute belter. We had 5 cars fighting for the win at one point, and it definitely came down to 3 cars towards the end of the Grand Prix. And I think one was in tow, trying his best to catch back up. So I'm very much looking forward to Singapore here tonight. It always brings out sort of the best, really, as there are very small margins for error around a street circuit, and this just shows who has got that extra little bit of talent, that little spark. But I'll let you take over for the lights.
Here we go then, 5 red lights. Singapore Grand Prix, 31 laps in this city-state, and the lights are out and we are away. Delta gets away nicely. Well, Jack alongside him nearly just about as they come in towards turn 1. Gibson having to defend from Mizzy, who is going to have the inside line for turn 3 as they run their way through. Of course, we've seen incident in turn 3 before, but so far as they make their way through, no such occurrence here in GRL. Inside line for Gibson, going through turn 5 and on towards, oh my word, on towards, I think it's Sunset Boulevard, but can't quite make the move. And here comes B-Ford. He's come through on Mizzy. He's going to come through on Gibson as well. It's 2 for the price of 1 for B-Ford, and he's now up into P3 here. Mizzy's going a little bit wide. Takubi is looking, sniffing around as they make their way into turn 8. He's around the outside. He's going to get shoveled towards the wall. And that is going to be the end of that move. And they're going to filter themselves out one by one, I think, as they make their way through Sector 2. But good start from Delta. Very good start from B-Ford as we see yellow flag. Oh, and that's Jacob and Jordan around as we've got a virtual safety car. But it's a good start near the front from B-Ford. He's the only driver in the top 14 who's up 3 or more places. Great start.
It's a fantastic start from B-Ford. He jumped up a position into turn 1, 2 and 3 because they very much do follow on from each other closely. And yeah, as you quite rightly saw coming down towards, is it turn 5, he managed to get another double overtake, so puts him into a podium position at present. So fantastic start for the man for Mercedes, and last time winner as well. Snipes, I think the current champion, has made a few positions up, but it's not been a great start from him either. And our good pal Rob Kelly, he's down a few positions, Darragh. He's in 17th position, so could hopefully do a little bit better, and I'd like to see him move up the field a little bit as well. But for the time being, he is where he is, and we'll see how it goes deeper into this Grand Prix.
There's still time for Rob. Oh no.
There's not time for Rob.
That's not a sight I like to see, and I don't believe in the commentator's curse. But that is a candidate for an example of such. We're going to see Corey and Takubi fighting out here. Corey getting through on Takubi, who's already picked up a time penalty here. Oh, he's got a drive-through. Oh, no. Well, that's just unfortunate for Takubi. We see Gibson! Well, something's happened there. I reckon Gibson's gone for the move there, or he's gone deep going for the... Something's happened there with Gibson. Oh!
What is going on? What on earth happened there?
Right, we did both just see that, right?
I've literally switched on to Gibson as you went whoa, but just before that, in sort of the way of things, and I just see this the bottom of the car, which I never thought I would ever see. All the Venturi tunnels on show, and he was just doing, well, he went up into the air, and it just looked like an absolute plane taking off. So I don't blame him for leaving the session if that's what he's done.
That is one of the greatest things I've ever seen.
I can't believe what I just witnessed. So much so we're completely ignoring the action on track. B-Ford then sets the fastest lap, so he is looking incredibly racy here. 3 laps into the Grand Prix, chasing down Welsh Jack for P2, who's chasing down Delta for P1. Less than a second separates the 3 of them. Even down to Mizzy in 4th. He is also within this DRS train that we have got forming up here. So yeah, it's looking good for the fight out front. Let's hope they can stick within the DRS of each other so that we can get a good showdown to the finish. But just going to mention Sivertson here. He's up into 7th place. I think that's a good few positions from his starting point. Yeah, he's moved up 3 positions then at the beginning of this Grand Prix. And Naka's managed to move up 5, but the biggest winner of all, 3 laps in, is actually Partik, who's gone from the very back of the grid, and he's up into 13th at the moment. So good start from him overall when you think about it. Gibson joining back. I wonder if that was a genuine problem with the internet or what. I don't quite know, but yeah. Yeah, Dara, in all my years of racing and now commentating, I don't think I've ever seen that. I don't know
No,
about you.
no, I can't quite believe what I've seen. In fairness, he spawned into the air, and I don't think that's something I may ever see again. Quite frankly, here comes Atom on Party. Party got through on Atom down through that straight with the DRS, but Atom looks like he's struggling a bit here. Rear end not liking it. I was going to say Partick. He's only really ahead of Atom and Snipes at the moment, because Basher isn't in the car. Takubi had a drive-through. Rob, Jacob and Jordan all crashed, and whatever happened to Gibson happened to Gibson.
Gibson took off.
Yeah,
so...
yeah. Gibson was at Cape Canaveral.
You are quite right. You're quite right, but nonetheless, he is still, on merit. He's up in 12th from starting 20th. So whether it be down to luck or, penalties or planes, it doesn't matter. He's still there, and it's a good start from him either way. But he's still got a lot to do. He's 4 seconds behind 11th, so a lot to chase down still in this race as well.
Yeah, there is a lot to do in this race. I was actually just thinking about because you know how we talk about it's Daytona season.
Yes.
And the fact that Gibson's just taken off. Well,
yes.
The Daytona International Circuit is less than an hour away from the Kennedy Space Center. So there's some great parallels being drawn here.
I want to know why you know that.
I just looked it up because I thought I knew it's close. Oh, there's a crash. That could be a safety car. That's Jobbo. Oh,
That's
Jobbo.
Retiring. Still a caution for the minute.
But how's Jobbo done that?
I don't know what he's done.
He's gone deep down that slip road again, like Gibson did.
God, I didn't see it. I didn't
Living
know
in
where
some
he'd
kind of
gone off. I just
alternate
saw he'd
reality here.
retired. I don't know. I'm very confused as to what is happening in this race. If I'm being completely honest with you, we've had planes taking off. We've had cars going up and down slip roads. The only thing I'm happy about is that we have a four-way battle for the lead of this Grand Prix, and Corey and Ninja are in hot pursuit. So, say 2 seconds between them and the little train out front here, but I think Corey definitely can show the pace as he did last week, and I think he could catch up. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see as we go deeper. What a weird start to this Grand Prix. We're only 5 laps in. We've got the majority of it still to go, and yeah, everything's happening weird, wacky, and wonderful.
Yeah, you summed up quite nicely there. But we've got a couple of trains forming, like you said, at the front 4, and then we've got the next 5, and then it just kind of gaps itself out a bit here. So we've really got a race of the top 9 at the moment, only on lap 5, which is maybe a bit of a surprise, but I'm sure we're gonna have a safety car at some point. I'd always put everything I own on it. I won't, but there we go. Knocker's retired. Where's the safety car?
There it is. That's the same corner, Dara.
Are they hitting that outside wall, do you think?
Yeah, what are they doing? That's another car. I'm so confused. Do you think they are hitting the wall?
Well, Jobbo and Knocker have done it on consecutive... Are we in the right lobby?
We must be. You and
Oh,
me are watching the
Jobbo,
same
sorry.
thing.
Jobbo's in the chat. Jobbo, did you hit that wall? Did that, like, your left wheel hit that, like, clip that wall? Like, George Russell style?
What is going on?
That is... Yeah. Here comes Ninja on Corey. Ninja through on Corey, up into P5. He's on mediums. Got to make them work soon enough for him.
An odd start to this race.
I don't think Odd quite covers it, to be honest.
No, it's very weird. Yeah, I think you're quite right. Odd doesn't quite cover it. I've noticed though, Ninja has actually gotten past Corey, so maybe he can give a shot at catching back up to the lead 4. The gap's still just hovering around the 2-second mark, but they're able to close in a 10th every now and then, so I wonder if they do have the pace to do it. But it can be very difficult to catch up a DRS train that you are not a part of, and very counterintuitive really of I think real life racing, I really hope that when we get to F1 24 that they will somewhat rectify that, because obviously the DRS is, of course, there to help aid and overtake, but I think it very much, in the sim racing world, it does the opposite of what I think it's meant to do, in that it just keeps everyone close together but not necessarily get past, especially if the leader has a nice edge on everybody, so a bit odd, but this seems to be a race of odd things, doesn't it, Dara?
Yeah, that, Jobbo's just sent me a clip.
This
But
is where
it's
I'd
not
love
the
to say,
right
can you
clip, because
please
he
cut
doesn't, I
to
don't think
it?
he
But
crashes in this clip. So I don't think this is the
oh,
right clip. Uh,
we have a move for the lead. Welsh
we
Jack
have...
going round the outside
Ooh.
of Delta. He's got on the inside now into the second part of that complex. They're still side by side. Delta going to try it back up the inside. I think Welsh Jack just about has the grip and holds it around the outer edge. B4 now lining up Delta into the Singapore Schling. Just for the moment, I think he's going to have to hold station, but we've had a change for the lead, and Welsh Jack is now your leader in this Grand Prix.
He is now the leader, but this top four are all really close together. It's really going to be a bit of a strategy battle, I think, between these guys. Ninja's had a very bad exit off the corner. Corey looked like he might have been able to come through here, but not he's done so to no avail. A little bit of a rear slide there from Ninja. We're on lap 7. Jobbo's now sent me the right clip, so I'm now going to have a look at this. I reckon this is probably going to be like a George Russell style. You know how he tapped the wall with his rear wheel, and that absolutely
Really?
killed him. Let's have a look. Up towards this corner.
Are you able to send it to me?
Oh, yeah, it's exactly what he's done. No, I'll send it to you right now. Actually, no, I'll just add you in the chat. Here you go. There you go. That is bizarre. And Knocker's evidently done exactly the same thing.
Let's look at this.
I'll have a look at Sivertson as well as he comes through turn 5. We'll see if he can make his way through on Corey. Using some of that overtake that he's got. He's got to be careful though, because Corey's getting very close to Ninja. Corey's going to go for Ninja. Oh, he thinks about it to the inside. Gets halfway alongside, but then backs out. Knocker's also now sent a clip, so I'll have to see if Knocker does exactly the same thing, which I'm sure he does. But it's bizarre.
It's not something you see very often, and let's put it out. Ever since the George Russell incident, before that, I've never really seen a driver do that kind of mistake before. Obviously, if they, normally you clip a wall, you have two effects. You have a catastrophic failure because you've hit it far too hard, or you just give it a little love tap and a kiss, and you just go on your merry way. So it's a very odd incident to watch and see, because it doesn't normally happen. And oh my word, yeah, he just just destroys the car, isn't it?
I can't explain that. Delta's got back through on Welsh Shack for the lead, but I mean, they're likely to be trading positions quite a bit. So yeah, so not too much afoot just yet.
Back to Corey. He looks to be lining up Ninja or at least trying to somewhat line him up. He hasn't quite got the move done as of yet, but he is definitely within the DRS range, and he's all over the gearbox of Ninja. So I've given maybe this DRS zone right here, and I reckon we could see the move potentially being done and completed. Here comes he with the overspeed, pulls to the left, and now he's going to move up alongside. He should have the move done, yep, before they even get into the braking zone. So Corey then moves up into P5 in front of Ninja.
He does, and that's sorted for I think a little bit now. But you never know, because Ninja could very easily come back. Come on, Ninja pit. That's another thing we're going to have to think about. Yeah. So
say about the pits, I noticed they were on two different pit tyres actually. There was Ninja and Corey. So Ninja's actually on the mediums. With the likes of Rob, Jacob and Gibson, but they've all had to do an extra pit stop, so Ninja's the only one out there on a different strategy to everyone else. I wonder how that's going to play into his race this evening. Sorry to butt in, Darren.
No, that's fine. No, you're right, because everyone else who's in the race, you'd say, at the moment is on a different strategy, so yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how this one pans out as we go through. Lap 9 has finished. Lap 10 has started, and we're into double figures in the lap count. But yeah, we've just got two Aston Martins leading some trains here at the moment as we pump our way around. I think we're going to have to realistically wait until the pit stop phase opens before we get some real action between these guys, because it's a bit of a procession around Singapore, isn't it? We might see a couple of moves with the DRS, but this track is not made for side-by-side action very far. So, yeah, it looks like we might just see some more single-file racing the next lap here as we go on to lap 10.
Yeah, we most probably will do, Darren. I think you're quite right. So maybe we can fill the radio waves this evening with our beautiful chit chat. I'm sure we can have some fun with it. But for the moment, you're quite right. It's just a bit of a procession. But I'm on board here with B Ford. He's lining up Welsh Jack quite nicely all over the gearbox as they make their way over the bridge and into the hairpin, taking a nice wide entry, tries to get all of the traction onto the exit. Gap closing down all the time there, but I don't think that straight is long enough to really make a move. And then the next one here, you don't have DRS, so it's down to who gets the better traction out of the exit of the corner. But on this occasion, it's neutral playing field, and they still go in one by one. Same positions at the moment.
Yep, same positions as they were on their way through. But yeah, this is what you kind of expect from Singapore. Part of the challenge of Singapore is just longevity, keeping the car pointing the right direction all the way through the race. That is part of the difficulty, part of what makes Singapore a difficult track to drive, really. So, if you can come out of the Singapore Grand Prix with a good result, it shows that it's a bit like Monaco in that sense that you've just got to get the car to the end. Difficult to overtake, and with it being such a long race, you've just got to keep pounding the lap times in, just being consistent, really. That's how you take points away from Singapore, and that's why a lot of people have it on the calendars, because it may not be a track where the challenge is, use the DRS the best you can, play games with the DRS the best you can, but it's a track where you can, it has that extra part of the championship, doesn't it?
It does. It adds that extra. I'm trying to think of the word now, but it's different. It's just something different on the calendar from your traditional races. But in a way, it almost feels like an endurance race. This one, it's not about, are you quicker than your competitor necessarily? Of course, you need to have the speed there to keep up with them, but it's very much a case of keep it out the wall, keep it on the straight and narrow, and just keep, like you say, pumping in lap after lap after lap. And once the pit stop phases, and I think actually a good strategy as well is something you need to factor in. If you've got the strategy right, then you're laughing, because track position is key around street circuits, and Singapore is no exception to that. But yeah, it feels very much like an endurance race. You need just keep your car going, keep it in one piece, and you'll do well just by simply doing those two things.
Yeah, exactly, and that's part of Singapore as a track. 31 laps, of course, but it goes about as fast as a Spa. Each lap, goes basically as fast as a Spa lap. But yeah. As
Basher retiring.
Yeah,
he's in the
joined
pit lane.
back.
He's all right.
He joined back and retired. Which actually, I asked him to join back and retire if he could, and he said yeah. And I really didn't expect him to say yes, because not many people would do that. But thanks to him for doing that. It means if there's a safety car, we won't have an AI in the way.
That's good news. That's brilliant. I'm glad. Thank you, Basher. Give you some props for that, as not many people do it, as Dara says. But B Ford now, he's within 2/10 of Welsh Jack in front. But once again, the straight not long enough. He's not able to draw that car alongside to even have an attempt at a lunge. But he is still incredibly close to the back of the Williams. And even there, he's practically pushing him round this little S section at the end of the lap. 17-18 or maybe 16-17. I'm not too sure, as I think the last corner is sort of a double corner. Yeah, he's still unable to find a way past, but I don't think he'll be too disheartened where he currently is, do you, Dara? As he's within the front pack, he's still within a shot of taking the win this evening.
No, yeah, anybody in the front back gives. You can just play with the strategy realistically here, and even if I think that's what you got to do. Even if you're like Mizzy, P4, he's not at the front, but he can play around with the strategy. He's close. He's within a second of the leader. He can be in the fight for the win here. All he maybe needs is one move. If he pits a lap earlier, he'll undercut them all. He'll be back at the front of this train, and then even if he loses out to the guy who's just behind him, he'll be second in the train. So he can position himself a bit better in the train, but it's all going to be down to these pit stops. So I think realistically, at this point, we're just waiting for the pit stops to open, pit stop phase to happen in the next 10 minutes or so, and then we'll have a better picture of who's going to win this race.
Yeah, you're quite right. I would say you're absolutely spot on, Dara, with what you just said. Everything you said. I still don't think you can rule out the little pack behind. If one of them duck in maybe a lap or two earlier than the leaders, then you can easily make up that time deficit to them by the time they come round a pit, and then Bob's your uncle, you've got track position, you're now the net lead of this Grand Prix, albeit your tyres are a little bit older, but, you know, like I say, track position around here is key. It is at every single street circuit. So I wouldn't even rule out that second pack. If someone does something a bit odd and unusual, but it plays out into their favour, you know, safety cars permitted and everything, you could still see Corey jump up to the lead if he pits in a couple laps earlier than the leaders.
Exactly, and I think that's just what we're gonna have to watch out for. Ninja, I have no doubts, will be in that front group after everyone's come out, but he'll be on those hard tyres. So it's going to be more difficult for him to keep up. So he might struggle in the second half of the race. But look, he's got that big of a gap back to Partick. So realistically, it's just the top four and the next four. And that's the race here. If the next four can bridge their way across, well done to them. But if they can't, they're just fighting over P5, and they know that. They're not really at risk of losing anything. Even if they have to pit again, I mean, they'd probably come out in front of Atom. So they'd only then lose one position, realistically. So it's a bit of a funny race, actually. We don't often see this kind of race where there's such big gaps in the midfield. But like Dylan backs it down to Atom, it's 2 positions. It's half a minute at the moment, which is incredible, to be honest. But yeah, obviously points go down to P15. So, was that?
Ford going deep. He's gone deep. He's given Mizzy a chance to get through, and he has. But crucially, there's now a second gap that has opened up between the front 2 and 3rd and 4th. I wonder if Mizzy can quickly bridge that right back up and get in the DRS zone. But B Ford running it deep. And that's giving Mizzy the opportunity. So there we go, a little bit of action there, Dara. Riding on board with the leaders. I think he's already bridged that gap, so they should close back up once again. But here we go. Here comes Corey steaming up the road, 1.9 seconds back. I wonder if he's able to bridge that gap as well.
Yeah, Ninja in the pit lane now, though. I think he might have lost the second back to... Oh, we've got a spin. That's AMS Partick. Oh, he's lost his front wing as well. We might get away without a safety car, but he's going to come in to fix that front wing. Not ideal for AMS Partick, just losing it on the exit. Atom, Snipes and Takubi are now in a little bit of a train together. Snipes hasn't really had the pace tonight. It just surprised me, to be honest. He's, of course, the reigning champion. And he's just not really been at it this evening. I don't really know why. A little bit of contact there as Takubi comes through, and now Shaq will come through as well. He's on a fresher set of medium tyres. Oh, this is going to be tasty. Are they 3 wide? They are 3 wide into turn 5. This is only going to end badly. Atom scarpered up the road. Yeah, Atom scarpered up the road. Here comes Shaq on Takubi. He's probably going to get through on Takubi here into turn 7. It's going to be tight though, but Shaq leaves enough room.
Is wide.
He is wide, but he's ahead enough.
He is. I don't think that's going to cause any problems. Takubi, brilliant defensive drive in there in a way. He's managed to fend off Shaq, but Shaq's not. He's not over with yet. Little red light flashing on Takubi's car, so he's down. He's going to be down on power. He's burned up that ERS in the system as it builds up over a lap, so he is going to be a bit vulnerable. As that's not what Corey needed. He's got a 5-second penalty speeding into the pit lane, and B Ford's coming as well, actually. So this is going to definitely change things around. B Ford, the first of the leaders to blink.
Yeah, and we will have to see where he does pop his nose out, because Ninja even could find himself in the top 3 here. He's going to be very close to Corey on the X. He's going to be ahead of Corey as they make their way through, and yet Corey
really
behind. He's gained about 2 seconds with that undercut, if not 2.5. So very good work from Ninja. And one more lap, he will definitely be in the window of Jack, Delta, and Mizzy. So he's effectively in this lead train now. I would have thought B4 maybe trying to steal a bit of a march, get out of that DRS, which he could do here. On fresh mediums, he could even get out of the DRS of Welsh, Jack, Delta, and Mizzy, and he could try to push on here. So we'll have to see how this unfolds. But I think they're going to come in this lap, I'd have thought.
Yeah, they've really got to react to B Ford. He's made the call, you know, very much like Red Bull in a way that, you know, they're very hot on the strategy, on the pit wall. I think B Ford's actually done the right thing. Pitted that lap earlier than his rivals, and he was in that pack. Of course, I think he wanted to also cover off the guys behind. So, very smart, I think, for B Ford, the strategy call he's just made. He has popped into the pits. Yeah, Welsh Jack and Delta responding. Mizzy staying out for another lap, so he's hoping to have that fresher tyre come the end of the Grand Prix. But yeah, Beefwood should be the provisional leader now of this Grand Prix. The thing that's going to be crucial is where does Ninja and Corey come into all of this? They've had those tyres on an extra lap over the leaders before. So what they don't want now is to get stuck behind Ninja and then just B Ford run away with it, because B Ford, quite as you just said, he's provisional leader this Grand Prix. Where did the other guys come out in relation to that? Ninja's actually come out right in the middle of them, and the two teammates of Aston Martin going side by side. Delta just ahead of Corey. I wonder if there's going to be some team orders in play down at Aston Martin, Dara. What do you think?
Yeah, I think they'll probably keep the positions they're currently in. But look, Dylan Baxter and now Sivertson are off the back of this train together. But we've now got a lead train of 5 for this race, because Ninja has bridged that gap, and so has Corey. Mizzy might find himself coming out in that gap between Corey and Dylan Baxter, and down in P6. I mean, we're talking about him being in P4, maybe using the undercut to come out in the lead and have track position. If anything, he's tried to go the other way, but it might backfire on him. Of course, we will find out. Long laps mean that you put a bit of wear on your tyres as you go around. It's not like Austria, where you pretty much put no wear on it as you go around the one lap. But we'll have to see if Mizzy comes in this lap, which he doesn't. Is he staying up for a safety car, maybe?
Well, if he is, he's really hoping on one, isn't he? The other alternative is he's going for a big overcut. That's the only other thing I could think of at this point in time. As long as that gap isn't closed up, you know, too dramatically, then he's got a good shout of getting in a decent position and then have much, much fresher tyres than those around him, and he can then go on and attack for the rest of the Grand Prix. But we were saying it earlier, it's very difficult to overtake around this circuit. And so I wonder if what Mizzy's doing. He must be waiting for a safety car potentially to help him out, as Delta is getting a little bit held up here by Ninja. I feel he looks as though he wants to get the job done. He's within a couple of attempts off the back of the AlphaTauri. Here's going to be the move then. Delta pulls out of the slipstream. I think he's going to have the move done before the braking zone. Yes, he does. Delta up to 4th. He can go chasing after Welsh Jack once again. And as we said, as you mentioned earlier, alluded to it, Beeford he's out of that DRS range. I think that was the old time pit stop from Beeford.
It was indeed, and I'll have to see how he can use this advantage as we go through. Rob Kelly and Snipes are going side by side. Snipes ahead of Rob Kelly. Neither of them are having a very good race at the moment. Rob Kelly back on the Snipes. I think he went a bit deep into that corner, but they're both on very worn tyres. I'm sure they will pit again shortly, as we have what we will 13 laps. Oh, there's a spin from Snipes as Mizzy pit. If there was a safety car there, that would have been beautiful timing for Mizzy. But I'm sure B4 will comfortably come out in the lead of this Grand Prix. It's just a matter of when Mizzy comes out. I think he might even come out behind Dylan Baxter here. We're going to watch on board with Corey, because I definitely think Corey's going to be alongside the Red Bull. No, it's going to be Dylan Baxter. No, it's going to be Sivertson here. You can see the Red Bull coming out of the pit lane through that first corner. Sivertson's going to have this position, I think, around the outside. He's going to have the momentum, and he's got the position. Mizzy's down into P8 now.
That's crucial. Although Civitan's got that little red light flashing in the back of the Ferrari, could he become under threat immediately by Mizzy? Yeah, look at the overspeed, it's absolutely huge. DRS and probably a dash of ERS just to get the move cemented, and Mizzy does that very quickly and efficiently indeed. He can now go chasing after Baxter. I wonder if that was worth it for Mizzy, holding on the extra laps. Of course, he's got slightly fresher tyres than those around him, but I think 2 or 3 laps, it's not a big difference. And I don't know if they're going to really give him the extra performance that he thinks that he needs to get further up back where he was.
Yeah,
I've
and
noticed though, Darren, Welsh Jack, he's closed the gap. He's now within DRS of B Ford. So we've got a battle for the lead between the front 3 once again.
we do have a battle for the front 3, and we just will see how this all starts to develop. But yeah, it's looking interesting at the moment. I think we're going to be following this one to the end. The top 3 look like they're away without a safety car. These top 3 are going to be the top, or without incident, these 3 are going to be the top 3 at the end of the race, no question about it. Ninja's falling back. Corey, Baxter, and Mizzy might come through, but they're not going to be able to bridge a gap that big on these drivers who are so quick. It just depends about, with these 3, who's going to come out on top, and it realistically could be any of them. You could make a case for any of them. But it's B4, Welsh Jack, and Delta, 1, 2, and 3. You said Delta came P2 last week. So it's P1 and P2 from last week. Along with... Oh, Welsh Jack wasn't in the top 5, but... You know, these are the races in the championship that you look back on and say, that's why I won the championship, that's why I didn't win the championship.
Yeah, they are. They absolutely are. And I think B Ford is getting his championship really off to a flyer. We've seen in previous seasons, last one notably, he struggled to get going and underway early in his campaign, and he really brought it back in the closing stages. But by that point, Snipes had already pulled out the lead enough to become and crowned the champion. So B Ford, I think he's still fresh off the back of that last season. He was really up there, and he just continued the form on, and he's taken hold of the reins and he's riding it home at the moment. Snipes then retiring in the pit, so for that just goes to show one of them really does have a drive to continue winning, and the other one just seems to be fading off a little bit. But yeah, B Ford, he's doing everything right again this weekend. I think Delta as well, and Welsh Jack is keeping them for company.
He is, and I think, yeah, as I mentioned, these 3 are going to be the 3 towards the end. We've still got 11 laps to the end, so we've still got a long way to go. Yeah, I'm still back in B Ford. I am still back in B Ford for this one. I may be very wrong, but I'm sticking to my guns. And if I'm right a second time in a row, you know I'm picking B Ford again next week.
Oh, sorry, this is amazing. Just watching a cutback. Mizzy trying to get past Baxter. Oh, he's gone around the outside. There's a little bit of contact there. Baxter's actually round. Civitan's through. Mizzy up to P6. And apparently what I said earlier is absolute rubbish, because those fresher compounded tyres seem to be doing him wonders, able to give him just a bit of extra grip than these guys who pitted a few laps sooner. Mizzy up to 6 and chasing them down. He's definitely making ground up on the guys ahead, so I think he could definitely get back up to P4, and I don't think he really would have lost anything out from what he has done in terms of his pit strategy. But he's still got a few positions to get to that point. Virtual safety car. What's that for, I wonder?
Oh, safety car. Jacob's retired at turn 1.
Oh, safety car then. Well, this does shake things up. B Ford's in. Welsh Jack's in. Delta's in. Does Corey stay out? No, Corey's in. Ah, no, this is a problem for Corey. He's right up behind his teammate. He's going to lose some positions there, isn't he? Mizzy's in, they're all coming in. It makes the most sense, doesn't it, just to pit on in. I think crucially though for TechQB, he's been on those hard tyres. Look, he's been holding out for a long time on those tyres. Pitted on lap 2 by the looks of things.
Lap 1, I think. Oh no, he hasn't pitted yet because he had a drive-through.
But
didn't he?
how does that make sense? That doesn't add up, Dar. He's been on the hards for 20 laps. It's lap 22.
Yeah, no. But he's now on to lap 22, and he's done 21 laps on them. If you see what I mean. So he has completed 21 laps on those hards, and he has just completed 21 laps. So this is his first pit stop.
Got you. It's because it says 22. It said 20. It didn't add up in my head.
Yeah, no,
you
that's
are
fine.
Absolutely bang on the money. So yeah, no, fair enough. I'll give you that.
Pass it just about in front. But this gives Rob Kelly stays out. Interesting. He'll gain 3 positions by doing so. I don't think it's necessarily the worst idea.
It's not. I'll say it once. I'll say it again. Track position is key, and those medium tyres that he has on are only 3 laps old, so they're fresh enough to go to the end, no problem at all. And we have now actually got a different set of strategies here, Dara. Got a couple up on the mediums, a couple up on the softs. I wonder who's going to benefit the most from what they've decided to go on to. So we've got B Ford, Delta, Ninja, Corey, Baxter, Partick and Tecubi on the softs. Everyone else has stuck with the mediums, and we've still got what 9 laps to go in this Grand Prix. So I wonder if the softs can hold out that long.
Yeah, we will have to see if they can hold out long enough. But we march on, we continue in this one. But yeah. It's an intriguing little. It's going to be very interesting on this restart. What's better, the softs or the mediums? You think the softs work better initially? Beeford needs to make that gap before the DRS starts. He needs to make it to Welsh Jack. Otherwise, he's going to be gobbled up like it's a tasty little dinner by Welsh Jack. Delta, Ninja as well on those softs. Mizzy and Sivertson as well. They might be good for longevity, but Mizzy's got that protection of Sivertson to like Corey and Dylan Baxter. But we'll just have to see. It really is a split. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 7 on the softs, 7 on the medium. So there is a direct split on what drivers think is the best to do here. And I think Rob Kelly is actually coming to the pit lane now.
Yes, he just popped in.
Oh, actually,
I was just looking.
I also don't have that from Rob, because what Rob's done there is he's now gone for the freshest soft tyres he possibly could have. Which I actually don't. I think that's a good idea.
You know what? I think you're quite right. I think what is that, Gibson? He looks as though he's going to do the same thing. He's also in the pits as well. Yeah, he has done the same thing. Sensible there from the two. I was just watching Shaq. He was like 25, 26 seconds off the back of Baxter. He's closed it to 10 now, but he was going awfully slow on that previous lap under safety car conditions. So I'm just curious as to what was going on and what was running through his mind as that was. He's brought it back up to pace now. He's catching right back up to the pack, so it's all well and good by the looks of it. But yeah, you're quite right, Darren. Rob Kelly, Gibson, going to be on the freshest set of tyres of everyone. I wonder if that's going to give them the edge, though, as we go deeper into this Grand Prix. Lap 23 currently, and we are under safety car. And we've still got 8 laps to go, or 7 laps when we get to the end of this one. And it's yeah, like you say, it was a direct split, but it almost is 50-50. Almost, and it'll be a longevity over speed. We'll see who prevails on this occasion. And as you said earlier, I think Welsh Jack could be eyeing up B Ford like a tasty snack, especially as we get into the last few laps of the Grand Prix, as those softs will start to fade away a little bit. I wonder when the safety car's coming in. Will it be at the end of this, or I think we should have one more to go, shouldn't we?
No, I think yeah, we'll have one more to go. It's because Gibson and Rob are too far back, so we'll have one more. Yeah. I think the softs were the right call on reflection, because when we get this race back underway, we're only going to have 6 laps to go. No, we're not. We're going to have 7 laps to go. So, yeah, I think the softs are the right call here, but Beefwood needs to gap Welshak before the safety car, or before the DRS is enabled again. That's crucial. Oh, can Rob try and get through on Shaq and Partick here? This could be helpful. Yes, he will. Easily.
He'll easily do it. Yeah, he'll easy.
So will Gibson.
Though, that's the question.
Oh, no, Gibson.
Gibson may not. There we go. Let's ride on board with Gibson.
Yeah, he will. Easy.
Oh, yeah, he will. He will.
Not even close. We should never have doubted him.
Shouldn't have doubted it. Oh, dear. Well, Shaq and Partick then. Freshest set of tyres of everybody. All line up at the back, but that's going to be no problem. They'll be right up amongst it all with everybody else. So it'll be interesting. I'm very curious what's going to happen at this point now, and crucially, I don't know who's going to win anymore. B4 does need to run away with it, like you say, right from the out. If he can catch them napping at the restart, he will be laughing all the way to the checkered flag. But it'll be interesting to see what he can do at the restart and if he can catch them napping. It's all what ifs, buts, and maybes. But we'll have to wait and see, of course. I don't know who my money's on now at this point. I still, you've got to give it to the top three. They've been dominating this race so far. But now the fact that everybody is bunched up right onto the back of them, gearbox to nose, all the way up and down, it could be anyone's race here. Yeah, safety car in this lap as we get ready to go green racing once again. B4 will take the pace of the pack as he effectively somewhat becomes that safety car, so he can dictate how fast everyone goes.
He can dictate how fast everyone goes, and he will make sure it is a nice, slow, leisurely pace before we get ourselves back underway here in Singapore. Everyone is to the back. This is what the likes of Rob Kelly and Gibson stuck around for. Gibson's been airborne in this race, but he still has a chance of some decent points here. Beeford needs to get away with those soft compound tyres, and he has gone already. Welsh Jack is caught a little bit napping. The gap when they cross the line is going to be just about half a second. And Beeford needs to gain another half a second for this to really work out for him. But they'll all come across the line single file. But with 7 laps to go, sorry. This is anyone's game at the moment. But Beeford could pull away here.
He could. Welsh Jack really needs to pull this lap out of the bag and stick within that DRS zone. They only have to do 2 laps without the DRS, but then it will be in full activation once again. And I think, yeah, he somewhat caught them napping on the restart there, but I think the reaction times were quick enough from everybody as they have followed on very easily. Corey there making up a position. Never mind, they must be side by side. They're flicking back and forth. They are side by side. Corey and Sivertson battling hard. Corey just about making the move up onto Sivertson. He'll take P6 away from him. Penalty served, so he is now fighting for every bit of a position that everyone else is. And he's made the move on him as well, putting those soft tyres to good use early on at the restart here.
Yeah, very good use so far, but Beeford hasn't really been able to put his to good use too much just yet. He's still only about 6/10 clear of Welsh Jack here, and he's not burnt too much for the battery, but he might have to use a little bit to keep himself away from that Williams, who might be a bit of a threat towards in the last couple of laps of this race. They're all the top 5 are in a little bit of a train. Corey's off the back of Mizzy here, but we'll have to see if he can get back inside that window. Rob Kelly into the top 10 now as well, as Beeford sets the fastest lap of the Grand Prix. There's 6 to go, but yeah, the race has come alive, really, isn't it?
It will do, especially it always does after a safety car, and particularly at these street circuits. Opportunities galore. Mizzy trying to make one on is it Ginger Ninja, or am I just making that up? On the Ninja. Either way, he's right up onto the gearbox of the man. He's within 4 attempts. I don't think he's going to have enough pace this time by, but that's because DRS not in activation to enable the overtakes just as of yet. But he's looking pretty racy on those mediums, but so is Welsh Jack. He's within 4 attempts now of B4 up front. So, yeah, it's definitely come alive now in the closing stages, and it's still anyone's game who's going to be the winner. I honestly couldn't say who it's going to be just yet.
Absolutely. But the top 3 look like they might be starting to get away now, so yeah, we'll have to see how this develops, of course. I think the medium tyres will really start working in the final couple of laps compared to the soft, so we're just going to have to hold our breaths and wait. But we're about to have a 5-lapper to the end, and they're all kind of spaced out as if it was a 5-lapper starting. So, we had about 20 laps of a procession, and now it's just heated up.
It has. It's getting hot under the collar in Singapore, and it is a track that drivers normally do sweat at quite a lot, thanks to the humidity here. But these guys are probably still perspirating somewhat at home. However, it was nowhere near the likes of the real thing. But it is getting a bit feisty now. DRS is in activation for these guys once again, and that does mean that Welsh Jack, Delta, and the likes within a second of the car in front will have that little flap in the rear wing open, to give them an extra boost of speed. Just a little wibble and a wiggle there for Welsh Jack. Just making sure B Ford can see him. And you know what? I forgot something I wanted to say, and I've remembered it again now. I may change B Ford's name to, like, I don't know, Triple A Ford or Double A Ford. Just he's always got battery, isn't he? Man, he always knows how to save it.
I remember very specifically, there's one clip of myself and Jim, who used to do commentary on this channel, of us in China. It was a race in China, and B Ford had all of his battery left, and he was just about on the back of a car that he was getting stuck behind. And it was like 10, 15 laps to the end, and we were quite literally screaming at him to use some of the battery because he wasn't using any. I'm gonna have to try and find that clip and send it to you, but yeah, it's a tale. It is a tale as old as time that B Ford has good battery management, and it's why he's the champion of season 3. It's why he nearly was the champion of season 4. Corey, 3 seconds. That's Corey going very wide. And I think that's now 6 seconds, is it now for Corey? No, it's just the 3. But it will still cost him.
It's just the 3. It will. He had a 5-second penalty earlier for speeding in the pit lane. He's been able to serve that. So, you know, as I said earlier, not too many laps ago, he was fighting for positions just like everyone else. But that 3-second time penalty, it's going to cost him big time. I'm just watching riding on board with Mizzy in the Red Bull. He's going to pull out the slipstream and try and get past Ninja into the braking zone. I think he's going to have that one comfortably done as well. Sweeps it back out wide to make sure there's no chance that Ninja can get the move back up and under. And he's got past into P4 now. So good move there from Izzy. Brilliant use of the DRS, and that has given the likes of Corey a chance to get right up onto the back. As Mizzy then picks up a penalty for himself as well. So that's going to hamper his chances of sticking in P4. As he is he's just over that second gap to the leaders there, or has he just dropped under it? It's very close indeed. Only a few laps to go. There's a little bit of a slide there. Who was that?
Takubi, I think.
That Takubi, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Out in the corner there. Little bit of a slide. There, but no changes just yet. Once again, still waiting.
3 laps to go then, here in Singapore. It's a flapper now, not a flapper. It's a flapper. In this race, we've been going a fair while. Did say it's the longest track on the calendar in terms of length of race. So not long to go now. 3 laps to find out who wins this Singapore Grand Prix. Just noticed actually, random thing, that you see on that lap counter, that 9 is slightly below the 2, ever so slightly, and that is now annoying me. That's annoying me now. My OCD is kicking in, and that is really getting to me.
I'm going to take over because Sivertson's going round the outside of Baxter. Is that Corey getting past Ninja?
It is. Oh, Sivertson's got the inside line on Baxter and just says, no, you're not going to go around the outside of there, mate, and keeps P7, but he's got to be careful. I mean, there is a possible P5 on the line here for Sivertson, definitely for Ninja, if he can just stay behind Corey and just not lose too much time to Mizzy. If he feels like he's going to lose the time to Mizzy, he might have to make the move, but at the moment, Ninja on for a top 4 finish here.
Yeah, it is. Mizzy's he's managed to catch up to that front group, so Mizzy's got the pace. And just like Welsh Jack, they're both on that medium tyre, which you would argue now should be coming into a class of its own almost, over the soft. So watch out for those two. It's not over yet until that flag falls. So it's anyone's game, but obviously Mizzy, with that penalty, he will miss out. But, you know, if he can get the gap back to Corey, he could at least cement P4. Or I say not to Corey so much, but more to Ninja and Sivertson behind them. However, he has really just got to focus on following as quick as possible and not really getting into too many battles, which, you know, 2 laps to go here, Dara. It's hard to do, especially when there's a win up for grabs and on the line, as B Ford having to take a defensive line there for Welsh Jack. He sweeps back to the racing line, but the Williams driver's going to have the overspeed here. This could be a move for the win. Welsh Jack going to go to the outside line. Late on the brakes is B Ford. They're side by side through the corner. Up to the next one, Welsh Jack will have the advantage. The inside.
Oh!
He absolutely says no, and no, B Ford's gone. He's out of the Grand Prix. He's hit the wall. The wheels come off, and so is the challenge for this win.
What is the damage set to? Because we've had 2 cars crash down in towards, down off the DRS straight. We've had B Ford crash there for things that you wouldn't necessarily think that the car would die for, but that's big moments in the championship. It now means that Ninja might be on for a podium hit on the back of Corey. But Welsh Jack and Delta now realistically a 2-horse fight for the win here. Incredible scenes, 1 lap to go.
Yeah, 1 lap indeed. Delta back in his fabled P2 position. He managed it last week. He's definitely going to want to try and do one better. He's going to have one real shot at this, I think, and that is down towards turn 5 with the DRS in activation. 7 tenths is the gap. He'll get a DRS burst here to try and catch that gap just a bit. And look up ahead, the red light is flashing on Welsh Jack's Williams. Has he got the pace to stay ahead of the Aston Martin? Or will it all end in tears for him and he might have to settle for P2? Ninja, no, he's picked up a penalty. Here comes DRS in activation for the front 2. Delta, he's going to try everything he can to get this moved on Welsh Jack. The gap really closing up, but he doesn't have enough length in the track to make the move. I think that could be sealing the deal then, but it's not over just yet. We've still got a few more corners to come to see who will take this one away. I'm sure Delta will do everything he can to give it a good shot at taking away this win.
Yeah, but the corners are running out. Sivertson looks like he's on for P4 here. Mizzy might just sneak a P3 because of the fact that the cars behind him aren't close enough. I mean, Ninja might have been close enough, but Sivertson might not be. It's going to be very close, though. The gap is currently about 3.2. So it is incredibly tight. Sivertson is going to be willing Ninja on and willing Mizzy to have a mistake in these final couple of corners because it's 3.4 at the moment. The podium could be on for Sivertson after heartbreak last week out at Bahrain. But Welsh Jack is going to come around the final couple of corners. He's going to come around the final corner and he's going to win here at Singapore. It's not going to be by much. Delta in P2. Not very far behind, but it will be Mizzy in 3rd as Sivertson jumps up to 4th, but he's lost out by half a second. Dylan Baxter, Takubi in 5th and 6th with Corey and Ninja, Gibson and Rob Kelly in the top 10, Atom Partick, and our final position, our final finisher, I can't actually remember who that was, but what a race in the end. Welsh Jack is your winner. It was a long one, but in the end, Welsh Jack has come out on top, and with the B4 crash, they're big moments in the championship.
Yeah, there was. It was very much a slow burner until the end, and then it all kicked off, did the fireworks. But that is crucial, without a doubt, for B Ford. And I believe that does mean that Delta takes the lead of this championship after round 2, as he picks up back-to-back podiums, 2 second places in a row for the Aston Martin driver. Brilliant drive from him again today. It's just a shame he was unable to convert the win. That honours went to Welsh Jack for the Williams team. Good drive from him, and very well done.
Yeah, incredibly well done. I think B Ford might be complaining possibly about getting pushed towards the wall there.
I mean, looking at it, I can't, give my full verdict as one of the stewards here. I will be putting it in my review. No, in all honesty, based on what I saw just there, is Welsh Jack had the corner. He just ran it out onto the racing line with every right of doing so, as he had the track position, you would argue. But then I'm sure B4 will argue that he had enough of a car alongside to deserve the room. So be interesting to see how that one pans out in the end. But at the moment, Welsh Jack's your winner. Delta, Mizzy are 2nd and 3rd. Mizzy, he managed to do it in the end. That's brilliant stuff from him.
Yeah, good stuff in the end from Mizzy. I think he was a bit lucky that the penalty was picked up there by Ginger Ninja, because he would have found himself off the podium. I've asked people if he's got the clip. I mean, I know it was live on the stream, so people will be able to look at it when the stream ends. But the stream hasn't ended yet, so we'll have to wait and see. But we have got Mizzy. Not Mizzy, sorry, God, Delta in the party. He's the only man who actually finished on the Xbox, in the top 3 on the Xbox. So it's going to be a lonely old interview here, but Delta, how was that race for you? Another P2, another strong result, and we believe you're a championship leader now.
Yeah, really good race. I'm a bit annoyed that, that undercut worked for Beefers, because if maybe that safety hadn't come out, could have finished P1 on track, but you know, we move. Good race all around. Had good fun, good battles. But quali, I wasn't even expecting to get top five to be honest, but the wet really saved me. So yeah, I'm happy about that.
Yeah, I mean, it was a very good qualifying attempt from you, and then of course consistency in the race, which was important. So, I mean, overall, you must be pleased about. Uh, you must be pleased about what how that race went for you and how the championship was looking for you.
Yeah, 100%. We're definitely right up there. Well, I don't think I shouldn't get a penalty for this race. I don't remember being in an incident, but you know, we're up there. We're leading. Maybe I can do what I didn't do in like season two.
How are you
That's
feeling about coming to Japan for next week then? You feeling strong for that sort of circuit, or not really your thing? Or what are your thoughts going in as the championship leader? What are your thoughts going into Japan?
I mean, I'm not looking forward to be honest. I'm not amazing at it. I mean, it's a wheel-based track, isn't it? But you know, I'm I'm just hoping that my fingers will survive. The last time I raced at Japan, they were killing afterwards. But race pace should be good still. Quali pace, not so certain.
Understandable and fair enough.
Um, yeah. So I was just chatting. I think Missy wanted an interview, but he's on Xbox app. Okay, right. He's gonna have to be quick. Ashley, could you waffle on about Suzuka for 30 seconds, please?
I could waffle on about Suzuka for 30 seconds. However, I'm not very good about the circuit or much about it, if I'm completely honest. I will, though, bring up, as Delta, as you have just rightly said, it is very much a circuit suited for wheel-based users. So the people who are racing on a pad may struggle somewhat next time by. So that could separate things somewhat when we do get to Japan next week. I'm just checking. Do I actually have any notes on the circuit? I do. Here we are. So 27 laps it would be, around 18 corners, and it's one of those famous circuits for a numerous set of reasons. Not to mention, the likes of the McLaren battles between Prost and Senna over the years. And I'm just trying to work out who won it last time, but I may not be able to get that to you in time, unfortunately. As I'm sure I've just finished your 30-second slot, Dara. Are you back? Are you ready?
Thanks for the 30 second slot. Mizzy should be invited now, so we'll have to see if he joins. I'm trying to see if Beeford also sends me the clip, because if it's very clear that a track's going to get a penalty, I'll quickly get Sivertson in as well. But I've invited Mizzy, but nothing's happened. So. Oh.
Uh,
I'll give it one more go, and then I will call it a day. Mizzy, what is Mizzy number? What's his number? 7257. There we go. I'll invite him again. Yeah, I mean, good race, wasn't it, Ashley? Yeah, I'm looking forward to
It was
Japan
as
now.
I said earlier. As I said earlier, it was a slow burner. But by the time we got after the safety car and those final closing laps, very much a sprint. It was something to watch and enjoyable as well. So no, it was a good race in the closing stages, as it normally does tend to be here at Suzuka after strategy has played out as well.
It has. I'm now actually telling him to join off of you. Um, Gosh, this is always fun to do on the fly. It's almost more fun when you've got someone in broadcasting for you to do all this stuff out. But yeah, we'll have to see. Nock says he's feeling a Verstappen 2022 title challenge. 2 DNFs, apart from the fact that Verstappen DNF'd in the first and the third races, rather than the first and the second, because he won the second. But anyway, oh god,
Oh no.
I'm just gonna tell him we'll sort out for next week.
I'll tell you what, Darrell. Whilst we wait, then what circuit? What we've got Japan next week. Where are we after that? Let's run down the season's calendar then. I can do it for you actually. After Japan, we make our way to Spain for round 4. Then Austria, France, Great Britain, Hungary, Belgium, Australia, Italy, aka Monza, the actual Italian Grand Prix. Portugal. We're then in Kota for round 13. China, Netherlands, Abu Dhabi, and to top the year off, it will be round 17 at Brazil, and that takes us all the way right up to the end of May.
It does. I've been sent. I've been sent the crash by B Ford, and the thing is here, that could be a penalty. Like I can see an argument for that being a penalty, and I can also see an argument for that not being a penalty. So yeah, that.
We'll
That's
have
a
to
tricky
we'll
one.
have to leave it. We'll have to leave it
Because
there.
if it was clear, I was going to invite Torpen, but it's not clear.
Yeah,
So I'll leave it.
we'll have to wait.
But yeah, okay, we'll leave it there then. After all that bluffing, we might as well leave it there. Thanks, Delta, for joining. That was wonderful. One of us.
Oh, no worries.
We might speak to you again next week. We'll see. But it will be Japan
You
next
will
week.
trust.
It will be Japan next week. We'll be shooting ourselves back just over the South China Sea to Japan for that one. Then we'll be across to Spain and Austria for rounds 4 and 5. But thanks for everyone who's watched, and we'll be back next week for Japan when JRL returns at Suzuka.